Welcome to the Big Questions with me, John Munn, podcast series. This is episode 6. We're going to be talking about staying grounded and centered in a chaotic world. What this episode is going to be all about is just talking about, what does a chaotic world, what does a demanding world look like? What does it look like to you, for you, in your life? And our regular feature of tools for wellness to give you a few ideas and things to think about to help you stay centered and grounded and in a good solid place where the world is not pulling you about. I'd love you to think about just for a moment, if you and I were sat having a cup of coffee and I said to you, what's your view of the world? What's your opinion of the state of the world, if you like? I'm not talking here left wing-ish, right wing-ish. I'm not talking about any of that stuff, because no matter where it is, I'm telling you, it's biased. If you take your local TV, your local television, to me, it's almost as though the principle of that source of news, be it radio, TV, whatever it might be, has literally got out of bed in the morning and said, right, let's find every darn depressing thing that we can possibly find this morning, from whether it's people injured in car accidents, whether it's traffic jams, whether it doesn't matter what it is. And I'd love to challenge these people to, the world is full of good things. The world is full of inspirational things. The world is full of good people doing good deeds for others. And how come that stuff never makes the headlines? And why I'm talking about this a little bit, before we get rolling, is I just want you to consider and be aware that everything you're watching, reading, and listening to is coming through a lens that has been tinted by other people, by people, be that the radio station, the executives, the editor. So just whatever you're watching, whatever you're listening to, just keep that on your radar. That kind of segues us into, when there are serious things going on in the world, how do I stay centered and grounded, and how do I make sure that I'm in a strong, empowered, emotional place despite the events that are going on around the globe? And the first thing to think about is your self-awareness. Learn to ask yourself a number of times through a day, how am I feeling right now? What is my energy right now? Because this stuff pulls us off, and before we could be going around our day very happy, very content. We got our things that we got to get done. We're in a good place. Work could be going good, whatever. And some external event. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. External events stealing our internal peace of mind and our internal connectedness. Let's talk a little bit then around this. How do we stay in this empowered place? To give some time and effort and thought and practice into spotting those moments in a day where you get pulled. The external event happens, you shift, there's an inner shift, you could be alarmed, concerned, and it's catching ourselves, learning to catch ourselves in that moment, in that very moment where the external stimuli, and again, let's just be clear, this external stimuli can be a bombardment. It comes at us all day long from countless sources. And when that stuff happens, you do not allow it to steal your inner centeredness. What I am not talking about is when you see something in the world, something awful, because, crazy, tough, horrible things happen. I'm not talking about staying disconnected. I am not talking about not feeling compassion or empathy for the plight of another. What I'm talking about is, your own energy. We each of us, we have a finite amount of energy. There is, there's not an insatiable, endless source of energy. So it's that choose what you give your compassion to. Choose consciously. What I am speaking to is not allowing yourself to be pulled north, south, east and west about a situation that very, very often, you can't do anything about it. All the worry in the world is not going to make that situation better. If individually, all of us individually on a micro level, make this shift, make this positive shift in our energy to stay grounded, to stay connected, to stay in a space of empowerment. If enough of us do that energetically, that we can see and create a shift on the planet. I believe that wholeheartedly. So what I'm asking you to think about is that your energy is contributing, your individual micro energy, you as an individual, is contributing to the macro, to the greater. Now, if enough of us stay grounded and centered and non-emotionalized and non-pulled around, then we can begin to affect serious change. Because with enough of us thinking positively about any situation, yes, have the compassion, have the empathy, have the understanding, but if enough of us can focus on a positive outcome, well then the whole tide rises. And when the tide rises, every single one of us has boats on the water, metaphorically. We're all rising. Humanity is rising. Consciousness is rising. And so that is how individually, by staying centered and grounded in wellness and empowerment, you can affect and contribute to the effect of the whole planet. So let's just talk a little bit now of the how. How do we do that? And this is the segment that we have in every podcast, that we call Tools for Wellness. And they're essentially just tips. They're just to help you, to put in your toolbox, if you like, to have a toolbox of tips and little habits that can just enhance your well-being. I've shared with you guys before, I'm a huge advocate of, these things that we're talking about are not grand, sweeping, turn your life upside down this afternoon to make these changes. That's not what we're advocating. What we're advocating is small, incremental, bit, piece by piece, day by day, couple of times a day, 3 times a day, whatever it might be, small incremental changes in your daily habits that just contribute to your wellness. I mean, that really is, in a nutshell, what all of these series, yet they're insights on life, and but really they're all about empowering you guys with things that perhaps you weren't aware of before. And so moving through these tools, staying centered, grounded, empowered, gratitude, massive. The energy of gratitude, because no matter where you are in life, no matter what you've got going on, there is always, always, always something to be thankful for. And integrate that into your daily thinkingness as you go about your life. Reflect on, things that you've got to be thankful for. I mean, I think a lot of us as kids, our parents would tell us, count your blessings. It's the same message. Just examine your intention. Intention is everything. What are you intending to do? What are you intending to give? What are you intending to be, in life, in the world? Because the power of intention is just massive. So I want to offer to you, when you we've talked a lot about your morning practice, your daily rituals, and I love the word ritual because for me it is a ritual. My early morning ritual, when the sky is still dark and the house hasn't woken up yet, is to sit. And I would say to you guys, just sit, create that space, create that level of intention where you're prepared to be the example. Be the example of an empowered human being. Be the example of somebody that is living consciously and deliberately and knows who and where they are, in the world. And finally, on this tools of wellness point, get in a state of gratitude. You're part of your morning ritual. Just sit there and reflect. Get a pen and paper and write a list of what you've got to be grateful for, what you've got in your life. It may be your work, your family, your loved ones. It could be a vacation that's coming up. It could be your opportunity to give and serve. But get in that habit of gratitude. Because when you sit there and from your heart space you say thank you, it's so powerful. I mean, the universe herself resonates to the power of thank you when it's coming from your heart. And I'm telling you, the way the universe works, it recognizes gratitude and it recognizes its own, and I believe it responds with giving you more things to be grateful for. Stay in that space, guys. As always, I thank you so much. You're a wonderful blessing that you give me and give us our work here, the time and the attention. Thank you as always. So that's a wrap for the big questions with me, John Munn, episode 6. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of the insight and the wisdom that we're sharing. And as always with our work, if you're interested in knowing more, please check us out at johnmunn.com, where we've got more of this information available. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I thank you for your time, and stay safe. All right, love you. Bye.